Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brandon, also known as Branmatt, and welcome back for yet another StarCraft II replay. Today we have a Protoss versus Protoss here on Acheron Wastes. So spawning here in the top left hand corner as our red Protoss player will be JayPower. And then down here in the bottom right hand corner of the map, spawning as our blue Protoss player is WhiteRa. He got a lot of prominence in Wings of Liberty, has been very good at what he does. He does quite a bit of streaming as well. He's put on a lot of good tournament results, and I think the last time I casted him was a long time ago, probably at the beginning of Wings of Liberty. I'd have to double check my channel to see, but nonetheless, two very skilled players. This is a Grandmaster League replay. They both were playing on ladder, so this should be a good game. WhiteRa is just going to focus on pumping out some of those probes here. Both players doing pretty much the same thing, getting out those pylons, producing those first probes. Both should be throwing down their first gateway in just a minute here. We'll see this probe does pop out here, and there should be the gateway. So there's the first gateway popped out right now. WhiteRa throwing down his first gateway on the same timing as well, so it looks like a pretty standard play from both players. JayPower checking around the corners of his base. The interesting thing about this map is because there is so many far out corners in your base, even over here, where most players would focus right here on the front ramp and probably somewhere around in this area here around their base. A lot of players forget to check over in these corners here. That's where cannon rushes can come from. There's a lot of pylons that can be placed for 4 gates. And WhiteRa, yeah, checking over in that corner too. It can even be used as an advantage. We see WhiteRa throwing down a pylon there. It could very easily be used for hiding things, such as in the case of a Protoss player, dark shrines and other structures to make sure that the opposing player does not spot it right away. Again, you'll typically scout right around in this area and at the ramp. So as we can see, WhiteRa throwing down that cybernetics core also has double gas going on with 2 miners at each one of those gases. It looks like a similar play might come out of JayPower. He has 3 miners on this gas. This second gas is finishing up now. We'll have to see if he goes for 2 and 2, or if he does go 3 miners on each. It looks like he will do 3 miners on each, so we'll be mining that gas a little faster than WhiteRa. His cybernetics core is finishing up as well. And we can see WhiteRa sending out the first probe. This will probably be the first probe scout. We'll have to see if he actually decides to go ahead and put down any sort of pylon. It looks like he may do a proxy pylon. We'll have to see. He is hiding away that probe there in the corner. JayPower pumping out that first mothership core. It looks like WhiteRa is just slightly ahead on that, though, is chrono boosting it. Only 1 gate for each player at the moment, both researching warp gate technology, and a second gateway coming out now for WhiteRa as well. And we do see a second gateway coming now for JayPower, so pretty much identical plays for both players here. JayPower is checking around this Xel'Naga tower. Will not be able to see anything. It doesn't look like WhiteRa opted to put down any sort of proxy pylon. Does have that first zealot headed across the map. As long as that stalker is well microed from JayPower, it shouldn't take too much damage. Mothership core headed across the map, as well as an additional stalker for WhiteRa. It looks like he's trying to get awful aggressive here. He does have that probe there in the front, and he may be able to throw down a pylon somewhere. We'll have to see, and it does actually end up getting killed off, but is able to get that pylon down. This could be very devastating for JayPower. He does not want to pull out. This mothership core could cause a lot of damage. The mothership core is not able to finish off any units yet. Might lose a stalker here. WhiteRa ended up losing that stalker and will probably lose his zealot as well, but is able to get down that pylon. This mothership core needs to pull back and is extremely weak. Or, excuse me, that's a mothership core of JayPower. Completely confused there. It seems that WhiteRa, I believe, is leaving his mothership core back home. If we check, no, his is still here, but that was JayPower, so it looks like I was slightly confused there. JayPower did have that mothership core for defense. He has 3 gates out now, though, and it looks like WhiteRa's pulling in the back here just as JayPower pulls out his army. He might be able to get off a few probe kills, and JayPower building up a massive army here. Pulling back a single stalker for WhiteRa. He could have a lot of trouble unless if he's able to get some sentries out. He is producing that first sentry now. Might be able to block off the rest of the reinforcing force here. He's able to get off that force field, but it doesn't look like it'll be doing him too much good here. He really doesn't have anything to deal with this force right here. The robotics facility is just finishing up now. but it doesn't seem like he'll be able to get any sort of immortals out in time, especially if that pylon's killed off. Additional pylons finishing up here, pulling probes now. WhiteRa is getting awful desperate not to lose anything, getting some surrounds, able to get off a good amount of damage here on JayPower's army, but JayPower is doing so well, might actually end up losing the mothership core there. And the mothership core does go down, but JayPower has such a massive army here, he can essentially kill off all those probes for WhiteRa, as well as all the stalkers. Doesn't look like he's producing anything out of the robotics facility at the moment. He wants to save all that money to be able to continue building up his own army at the moment. Using those force fields to his advantage, he's able to get off quite a few good force fields, but not too long. Again, WhiteRa needs to continually warp in these units. This could be a pretty devastating situation for WhiteRa. And just using up a majority of his probes, GG comes out for WhiteRa. He ends up leaving the game. So congratulations to JayPower for actually pulling off the win there, but super aggressive. It looked like WhiteRa wanted to get aggressive here. Had that probe originally hidden away up here and actually throwing down that pylon over here, but it doesn't seem like he was able to get off enough aggression early enough. JayPower able to build up a bigger force and ends up winning the game. WhiteRa didn't use the robotics facility. If he was able to get out immortal, I think he would have been able to do that a lot better. But JayPower just coming too early with too big of a force. And obviously having this pylon down here, able to deal out just way too much damage for WhiteRa to be able to hold that off, killing off too many probes. So congratulations again to JayPower for winning the game. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like the video and possibly even favorite. Leave your comment down below to tell what you think about the game, and of course subscribe to the channel for new uploads every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.